Hello and welcome back to Sev Talks Money, where we share tools and tips to build wealth, crush debt, grow your business, and gain financial freedom. We're continuing our discussion on things that are foundational to starting a business. A few of these are administrative tasks that you can outsource to companies who specialize in these activities. And I've also discussed some of these in more detail in my other video titled Entrepreneurship Basics. So this is just an addendum to that video, and I'm going to link that video to this one once YouTube releases the live video. In this video, I'm going to be sharing 16 points, and I invite you to stick around to the very end for a bonus point on trademarking. So without further ado, let's dive right in. Number one, outside of first identifying the business goals you want to achieve, you want to think of the type of business entity. And for this, I suggest you contact a business attorney or tax accountant. You can get free or inexpensive consultations. You can also reference the video I did with attorney Peterkin, where we talked a little bit about business formation. Hi, Eve. Hi, Sandy. Hi, Beverly. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Please share and tell everyone about it, about the fact that we're here this afternoon. Okay, and then point 2 is craft a business plan. You don't go on a trip without knowing where you're going. If you get on an airplane, you don't just get on an airplane to just go anywhere. You have a trip, a destination in mind. And that's what a business plan does. If you cannot afford a business plan, you can get free or low-cost help from score.org. And that's SCORE.org. And that organization consists of retired entrepreneurs, executives. They are very helpful. I can tell you from experience, they're very helpful and they're very knowledgeable. You can end up with a mentor that's assigned to you that kind of walk you through what it is that you want to achieve. So take advantage of that free or low cost help from SCORE or SBA.gov. They also offer help with crafting your business plan. So small businesses, if that's your plan to get into business as a small business owner, please take advantage of those resources. Now, for point number 3, register your business with the Secretary of State or whatever it's called in your state. In some states, it's not called the Secretary of State. In Georgia, where I'm registered, where both of my businesses were registered, it's the Secretary of State. What this does is ensures you're not operating a business with the same name as someone else. So think of this. If I am Brian Financial Empowerment LLC, and somebody else is operating with that same name, and they committed fraud, or they're defrauding their customer, or they're bouncing check. If this checks and balance was not in place, then that could bleed over into my business. So you want to register with the Secretary of State, because what it does is searches the database and makes sure that there's nobody else operating with that name in your industry. And that's a protection for you and for your customers. For point number 4, you want to register with the IRS. And I'm going to talk a little bit about business credit in another video, how you build it, what the things that you need for business credit. Because as we are venturing out as small businesses and entrepreneurs, we want to find every avenue that we can to protect our business and to help build our business. So I'm going to talk about business credit in another video at another time. But you're registering with the IRS and you're getting an EIN because you're going to need that. If you have employees, it's going to be helpful because, you look at your W-2 and you see your employer's EIN number and your social security number. Well, you need that to register what you're withholding from your employees with the IRS. And If you are opening a business bank account, they will also require you to have an EIN. An EIN is simply an employer identification number. So again, even if you don't have employees, if you issue 1099, let's say you hire someone as a contractor and you issue them at what is called a Form 1099, you want to issue that with your EIN instead of your social security number, because that way you keep everything separate and you're able to classify your business expenses in without the IRS, questioning it, or even if they question it, everything is straight, because every expense related to that 1099, every expense related to that employee is tied to your EIN number. So once you've done that and you've registered with the Secretary of State, you want to, and with the IRS, you want to register with the city, the county where you're doing business, the local authorities, because they require, when I registered my business, my first business in Cobb County years ago, I had to go downtown to register with Cobb County. And the same here with my new business. I have to go register because they need to understand who is doing business so they can protect, because it's all about protecting your citizen. So you want to make sure you're following these steps sequentially, especially the ones with SOS, with the IRS, with the county. Those three you want to do sequentially. Now, if you have employees, most states are going to require you to register with their state Department of Revenue for withholding tax purposes. So in Georgia, we do have state taxes. And again, if you look at your W-2, you're going to see two numbers related to your employer. You're going to see the EIN that's related to the IRS, and you're going to see a Georgia tax ID number that's assigned to your business that's related to withholdings that you're making for state tax for your employee. So you want to make sure, if you have employees, that you're registering with the State Department of Revenue for withholding tax purposes. And again, if it's for, I'm speaking based on my experience with Georgia. Your state may have a different process, but it's going to be very similar, but it may not be called the State Department of Revenue. It may be called something else. But again, you just want to make sure you do your research to follow up and make sure you are covered in all of these areas. Now, before we move on to point number 7, I want to take a station identification break. And I want to encourage those who are watching and those who are going to be watching the replay to please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Because what this does is it grows the channel so that other people can find it. And when you like the broadcast and comment and share and subscribe, YouTube is more likely to push it out to other viewers. So if you are enjoying what you're hearing and think that this can be beneficial to somebody else, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much. All right, so let's move on to point number 7. And that is that if you have employees, you're going to be needing to track their withholding. If that is not your thing, if you're not maybe a tax attorney as a small business or an accountant, and that's not your thing, then you can, of course, outsource to partners that process these types of transactions. A few of them are ADP, another company called Paycheck Flex, that's Paychek Flex, Flex, and then Gusto, Gusto.com. Now, there are others, but these are the 3 that I'm familiar with. And you can outsource your employee withholding. They will track it for you. They will do the payroll. They will do all of that. And it just keeps you in compliance. And you don't have to worry about that. You can concentrate on income producing activities. And you don't have to worry about tracking employee withholding. Now, for point number 8, you want to check if you need special permits, in addition to all the things I listed above, you want to make sure that you don't require special permits. If you are operating a business, let's say health and safety, environmental, special, like a hairdresser or anything like that, you're going to need additional special permit. So you want to check with your state and you want to check with your local authority to see what else is required for you. Because the name of the game is compliance. The name of the game is being legitimate when you're handling your business. You don't want to spend 6 months, a year on your business doing well, making money, and then because you have not registered with the various authority, you have not secured the correct permits, then you end up losing your business. That's going to be heartbreaking. So you want to start right by checking these things off your list, verifying whether or not these things are required by the authorities. Now, for step number 9, you want to open a business bank account. And I talk about that in detail in my entrepreneurship basics video. You want to open a business bank account, helps with commingling of funds, helps to keep, again, legitimacy of your business. So I'm not going to go into too much detail here as to why you should do that, because the entrepreneurship basics video does cover that. Another thing you want to do, which is step number 10, is you want to set up a payment platform. You want to set up a way for companies or individuals to be able to pay you. You don't want to, and you want to have it as centrally located as possible so that when they contact you, you can direct them to that link and they can set up their appointment. They can pay you, which is my next step, is have an appointment system. I don't know about you, but I can remember when I would set up an appointment with my hairdresser and I would text her and I'd say, hey, can I have a 5 o'clock appointment? And she would come back and say, oh, no, that doesn't work. She'll text me back. No, that doesn't work. Can you do 6? And I'll say, no, I can't do 6. Can we do tomorrow at 4? And she'll come back and say, no, I can't do tomorrow. And you're going back and forth with your hairdresser or whoever trying to secure a time. Well, if you have a platform where you can set up appointments, that is not an issue anymore. You give them the link for that platform. They can set up where you have openings, set up the appointment, pay you. Hey, next step. We meet and discuss whatever we need to discuss for the appointment. So that takes out a lot of the guesswork and the back and forth by having a platform where you can be paid and where you can set up your appointment. Now, I think I kind of mixed up my steps right there, but that's okay. The next step is a bookkeeping system. You want to have a system. Again, this is about legitimizing your business. This is about making sure, because when we start our business, folks, hear me well. When you start a business, you're not thinking mom and pop. You're not thinking small. You are thinking, I'm building this business, and who knows, I may sell it to a conglomerate and make millions of dollars. Hello. So we want to make sure that everything is in alignment the way it should. So set up a bookkeeping system. If bookkeeping is not that's my strength. And even though that's my strength, that's not an income producing activity for my business. So guess what? I'm outsourcing that stuff. So you have QuickBooks Live. You have another company called Bench. And then there's always Upwork. You can set your work out there and people will bid on it to do whatever it is that you need to get done. So again, set up a bookkeeping system because you are thinking big. You are not thinking, you're a small business now, but you're not thinking small. You are thinking that I am setting up my business in such a way that if Google comes calling and say, I want to buy your business, everything is in order. Okay? All right, let's move on to the next step. All right, I talked about Acuity being an appointment system and also a payment system. And then there's also Calendly that you can use as an appointment booking system. Now, here is another one. You want to build a website. I've seen so many posts with people talking about, well, why do I need to build a website? Well, it's legitimacy. Think about big business relationships. If a company likes what you're doing and they want to create an affiliate relationship with you, they want to give you a contract. They want to create, maybe set you up, or recommend you. Maybe somebody wants to recommend you to their company that they're working at because they like what they're seeing from you. Where are they going to contact you? Where is your central point of contact where they can contact you, where they can learn about you, where they can pay you, where they can make appointments? If you don't have a website, where is that place going to be? Are you going to tell them, DM me? No, that's not how we do business. So we want to be legitimate from the beginning. We want to build a website. There are inexpensive ways to set up websites. You want to do that because, again, we may be a small business, but we don't think small. We think big because we are trying to grow our business and make ourselves a name for ourselves, so that not only are we doing it for ourselves, we're doing it for other people, because my business is financial education, but it's not for me. It's for the people who need it. And I need to make sure I'm legitimate, so that when somebody comes to me and want me to come talk at their company, hello. When somebody comes to me and want me to come talk as their keynote speaker, hello. Everything is in place. And as Sandy says, it saves time and it keeps everything organized. And I think she's referring to the point where I made about your bookkeeping and having things in a central location. You want to do that. You want to keep everything as organized as possible. Because again, we're small, but we don't think small. We are growing our business because we are trying to impact the world. Okay. All right. So the next point is set up a business email. Now, flirtygirl36@yahoo.com and manlystud1@yahoo.com, those were great for college, but not for business. So you want to have a business email so that people can contact you and they can see that you mean business, whether it's based on your website. For me, it's going to be Severin Bryan at Gmail, or Sev Talks Money at Gmail, or it's going to be admin at Sev Talks Money, whatever. That says business. That says I'm serious about my business. Some of these emails I see, it just baffles me. What message are you sending with your email? So you want to set up a business email, and Google is free. Business name at Google, free. Let's take advantage of that. Now, for point 15, marketing. How will you tell people what you're doing and where to find you? Now, think of this scenario. What if Facebook says, I'm shutting down Facebook? And this is kind of tying back to the website. What if Facebook said, I'm shutting down Facebook? What if Google, Twitter says, I'm shutting down Twitter? What if Instagram says, I'm shutting down Instagram? What if LinkedIn says, I'm shutting down LinkedIn? What if all of these platforms say we are shutting down and you do not have a website? What will you do? Because all of a sudden now, you're doing business on Facebook, you're doing business on Twitter, you're doing business in your DM, and you don't have a website. Going back to website. You don't have a website where people can contact you, and these platforms are no longer in existence, or they may have a crash, and they'll crash for like a week. What will you do? You're losing money because you don't have your website. And tying that to marketing, how will you tell people what you're doing and where to find you? And you want to include this, make sure that this is part of your business plan, because you want people to be able to find you. And then point number 16, which is my last point, is depending on the type of business that you are doing, you may want to think of trademarking your business name or any phrase that's special to your business. Think of Nike. Just do it. Nike, Apple, Google. Now Google, we don't even say we're doing a search anymore. We say we're going to Google it. So now Google is a noun and a verb. So nobody else should be using Google because they have trademarked their names. So, and I want to make a point that as long as it's a different industry, you should be able to, you'll be fine. You should be fine to use the name. Think Dove chocolate, Dove soap. It's still Dove. But people like Google, I'm sure they've probably trademarked it for all industries. and Nike probably trademark their name for all industries. So think of, if you're using a specific phrase that's unique to you, you've created, and it's specific to your business, you want to think about trademarking it. And here's my bonus point on that I wanted to share on trademarking. Now, I am going to, let me just grab that. Let me see what Sandy's saying here. She said, you cannot build a business on land or in spaces or on the internet that you don't own. Yes. I mean, there are some, I see so many people, they're making mistakes that they're not even aware that they are mistakes. And that's why I'm here. I'm here to share. I'm here to bring guests on who are going to share based on our experiences, because we don't want you to make the mistakes that we've made or other people have made. So I want to share this little flyer with you. Here it is. Okay, so I want to share this with you. This is my tip on trademarking. Now, this X2, is just there as an example, because for some reason Canva won't allow me to be great and show this the way I want to show the superscript the way I want to show it. So I put this X2 here to show you the 2 in yellow, which is the superscript. So the X would represent my business. So Sev Talks Money, that is unique to my business. So I would put an SM or a TM here where this 2 is. That says to anybody who would want to use that name, that I am using a common what is called a common law trademark. It has not been registered yet with the patent office, but I am putting that symbol there to say that this phrase or this company name is unique to my business and nobody should be using it, because I have not yet registered it yet. I've not yet registered it. Now, if you are selling goods, you will use the TM symbol. If you are doing services, then you would do SM. So for me, it would be Sev Talks Money with the SM symbol, telling everyone that this phrase, this terminology, I have not yet registered it, but I am establishing a common law trademark. Now, the other thing is that R that you see there, that is a trademark that has already been registered with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. So you have the option of, registering your business, or just, if you're not in a position yet to officially register your business, you want to use these trademarks, telling people, cease and desist. Don't even think about trying to use this phrase or this company name, because it belongs to me. And again, the phrase, the name of your business is unique to the industry. So if I were to say my business is Sev Talks Money, and somebody else in the construction business want to use that name, they are free to use it because it's a different industry. I would hope they wouldn't, but they are free to use it unless I trademarked it for all industries. Then they are free to use it in their industry. Nobody else should be able to use Sev Talks Money in the financial education industry, because I have appropriated that name for use with my business. So I'm hoping that something was said here today that resonate with you, that's going to be helpful to you. Please come back next Sunday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I have a dynamic businesswoman who's going to be joining me. She has multiple businesses, and she's going to be sharing with us some tips and tricks, and she's going to be sharing her story. She's going to be sharing her pain points. She's going to be sharing how she overcame some of the obstacles that you may be facing, that will help educate and inform your business journey. So thank you again for all of those of you who watched, and please again share, like, and comment. And if you have not subscribed, please subscribe. Thank you, and I will see you next Sunday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Peace.